York City, Times Square packed with over 1 million strong, coming together to celebrate the new year. Anxiously waiting to count down to midnight, we've got less than 15 minutes to go, and as our celebration continues, let's extend our warmest wishes to those around the world, no matter how, where, or when you're celebrating your new year. Remember to take a moment to think about how to make a positive change in your life. And now, a musical performance as we turn our attention to the stage by an artist who needs to...
I barely recognize you. You don't remember me. We see each other every day, we never speak. I wonder from the other side of the glass why the passage of time is so evident, and where my friend went. It's okay. I'm sure you've come a long way, but if I could talk to you now from the box that I'm in, I'd ask if you know where you've been. Some say we are a product of our surroundings. That may be true. But it seems a lucky few can say their environment is entirely dependent upon what they do. Why does being that capable sound so unattainable to you? And how do you continue to play a game when the rules change a quarter of the way through? Your hairline fractures of spare time are plastered with these questions, and an obsession with leaving a lasting impression at viewers' discretion, if you could ever earn their attention without resorting to methods you won't even mention. You've been playing it safe, trying to appeal to everyone. That's why you failed to get fully familiar with who the real you has become. You're different now. You don't feel different, but you are. You need to know that you're not the only one who's second-guessing life's progression, and the best reference for a helpful lesson could be your own self-reflection if you share it with those who understand your intentions. So sit down for a minute. Look me in the eyes. Now verbalize these words you've tried to hide behind silence and talk toward a solution to what your age has made a crisis. Maybe you should have had it all figured out by now, instead of wondering how the hours spent scouring through thousands of pages back when knowledge was contagious have left you cowering under towering scrutiny like you don't have the power to be all the your so-called degree guarantees you can be. And maybe passion has fashioned a mirage thick with distraction from logic. Maybe this temporary rental space will present itself as your final resting place if you don't put down the brush and pick up the briefcase. Maybe that's a risk you're willing to take.
You know life is like a ticking clock. Nobody knows when it's gonna stop. Before I'm gonna need to touch someone with a word, with a kiss, with a decent song.
What a beautiful curse. This thirst for creation is all that's true to you, so relationships have eluded you. And adulthood insults those not put to good use, deemed fool, for the pursuit of improvement of skills learned in preschool.
Dancing alone with the way it was.
Colors, stories, shapes and sounds, our emotions conveyed in work and in play. They were teaching tools, and fuel for imagination, once the basis of our evaluation. A way to recreate your world on paper, back when everything was beautiful, and all you needed was two people's approval. New was exciting, not unsettling. Differences were inviting, not threatening. There was belief in yourself and what you could achieve. The world was at peace, and friendship came so easy.
I had a feeling that I belonged. I had a feeling I could be someone.
You lived each day like it was your first, always curious, eager to learn, without pressure from the ticking clock or the wick left to burn. Never had issue with the misuse of time. Choosing to loosen your hold on the daylight was fine, as long as you stayed right behind the ones who drew your guidelines. They said at 15 the years would fly by, and then there went 10, like the drop of a dime. And at each one's end, you were older than you'd ever been and younger than you'd ever be again. Never thinking that eventually all you could have potentially might be replaced with regret if you can't go kinetic, as who you could become turns into who you'll never be.
And that's just the way it is. Things will never be the same. Oh, this can't be the way it is.
The present is not what you would have predicted. Can't live in the past, you've already been evicted, and access is restricted to moments depicted in 2 dimensions. Accepting dissension and broken bonds is beyond your resolve, when the only ones who beg peace are the ones not involved. But who are you to judge anyone who won't surrender their way of life when every night from January 2nd through December you conveniently don't remember what you said you intended to amend for the better? 365 chances to make a change. All X's on your calendar. Not a day spent resisting routines that persist because you learned to feel embarrassed and became yet another witness to the bliss that truly exists within cluelessness, which you miss more than you're willing to admit. But self-awareness is a gift, if it isn't self-hatred. Understand you lack beauty, you'll strive to create it. In spite of the new worries and sense of obscurity that come with this virtue of absurdity we call maturity, that serves only to convert your certainty in the good, which was all you'd ever see, to naivety. Some have taken advantage, ripped off your good intentions like a bandage, so you learn the hard way, but don't show that it hurts, because you know what they say, could always be worse. Your purple heart turns red with shame when from a soft bed you complain, while some lay on terrain too jagged to be called rough, and in spite of all that is right with your life, you count your blessings at night and can't seem to count high enough. It's alright. Being alive is desire until we retire from climbing that summitless hill. Don't be envied or pitied, just be understood. How far anyone's come is just under the hood. Every win we attain disappears in defeat. The only heart with no pain is a heart with no beat. Good dreams and scenes on the TV screen make you wish you were anyone other than who you are. A survivor who's actually proud of his battle scar. A hero with a life of greater purpose, because nothing's worse than feeling worthless when the universe gives you more than you think you deserve. This life. So you still create, not just to maintain some youth and age, but to initiate a change by engaging each heart, no longer to preserve the present, but to reverse the unpleasant by way of a fresh start, and repay circumstance for the chance to play your part. The fun became fire, but the art is still art. This mission, to feel some significance, ironically shared by the greater part of 7 billion, has made digital inscription and physical division a given in your daily living. Friends have become acquaintances, vague recollections. You're no exception to a pattern that shatters adolescent fences, breeding scattered strays starved for affection. Memories are the splinters, nostalgia, the infection. And the only medicine was to pretend that the past never happened. So while yearbooks collected dust, the ink faded and the phone numbers became outdated, the past found new ways to parade itself, no longer bound to the bookshelf. Gone is the mystery in those who've grown distant, and you're reminiscent of our history of minding our own business, because comparisons can tear us into pieces. This thesis based on an entity that at the turn of the century made every cyber-savvy citizen a spy and a celebrity. Social innovation, the newest justification for the easily disheartened. Lengthy procrastination, cruelty, gossip, misinformation, or just weep for the degradation of the human race from the isolation of your own apartment. It eats away at your perspective, like a cancer of the eye. Your day-to-day objective is a chance at a good time, so you can share it with your friends online. But life beyond the cataract is a matter of fact over fiction, and the value of human hands over a hollow depiction. Still, clarity slips through fingertips that are more familiar with the feel of glass and plastics than the touch of their own skin. Head down in the darkest corner of the room, twiddling your thumbs, and we call it social. A friend you don't remember punctuates in the shape of a face at the end of a generic phrase in cyberspace, and we call it emotional. Maybe it's just too easy to get a grip on a reality gone virtual. Don't pretend you don't see it. Confined to this technology, you're becoming shy and mindless, and you're too entwined in ophthalmology to continue blaming blindness.
Got my mind made up, and I'm coming back for you.
Look into the light. We'll leave the darkness behind us.
I can hear your voice calling and I'll be there soon.
You can forget how this world boasted wireless connection while your extended hand was left to exhaust. It grabbed hold of distrust, and the real you was lost. Remember, you were found only at the cost of lyrics, notes, pixels, and paid strokes.
In the bedroom by the stairs.
You can even forget the days spent in the basement with patients that left you content to do a paid rent as long as the day's end brought proper placement on a webpage, so you could feel connected in the digital age. But remember how good it felt to at least feel connected. And forget that it's too easy to be seen, yet so hard to be heard in a time when getting a word in was supposed to be less of a burden to the soft-spoken. And how one-sided dialogue weighs you down from the neck up, because it's tough keeping your head up carrying the letters that spell not good enough. Never good enough.
25 years, but I finally see.
But remember why you've never stopped trying.
Not the boy I was.
Think of who you were before you were on display.
Before I was in my teens.
Think of what you wanted before anyone was
But
watching.
I'm still not the man that I thought I'd be.
Do you still want the same things? because all you've got is a phone that rings not for memories savored, but propositions and favors. So those calls will go missing while you're busy trying to tell your story to a world that doesn't seem to be listening. Too proud to cringe though it stings, too big to cry, so you sing.
But when those trumpets sound,
Your adolescence was spent preparing for independence, only to find that you will always need
when
someone.
my heavens call my name,
For survival, for sport, security, support, for feeling at home, for not feeling
I'm
alone.
gonna be with you. Oh, I wanna be with you.
It even takes a person to make it all worth it.
Oh,
So the fun became fire. That fire needs to breathe, even if only to keep yourself warm.
it took 25 years, but I finally see.
Your thoughts and refrains, stanzas and paragraphs are grains of sand that with hours pass fall to the lower half of the hourglass. Even if no one takes a minute to flip it and revisit a snippet of what you've written, that's no reason to remain frozen, choking on the notion that no one will be open to the face you show them or the words you've spoken. Some will see you as artist, some will see you as broken. Either way, it's all too heavy to hold in, so let it out. A book often read may get a little beat up, but one sealed shut tells no tale and remains untouched. So keep publishing those pages steadily, in hopes that your endeavors be a remedy for any soul that seeks serenity. Let it be that when we feel alone in the storm, we are sustained by seeds that someone else planted. When tensions are high and our patience is worn, there's a moment to feel and a chance to understand it. So whether you've escaped sight of it or not, you've been shaped by darkness and bright spots, created by more than just a lucky few who can switch up your surroundings to bring out the best in you. Because inspiration is everywhere, in the words we say and the work we do. So whether or not you stand out on a stage overrun with amazement, know that validation is not the size of your words, it's the weight of your statement. The most beautiful thing you can make will be made for beauty's sake, a gift that the world can leave or take. Be humble, but let it be known that you tried. Be happy, but never be satisfied. Because you can paint brighter, maybe they'll see. You can play louder, maybe they'll hear. You can sing sweeter, maybe they'll listen. And you can dance prouder, maybe they'll cheer. Even from far away, thanks to your cyber showcase. Nowhere close to the same as face to face, but your soul has been posted and won't be erased. Your heart's saving grace in the digital age. A weapon to wield against viral exhibition for the recognition of artists, workers, doctors, nurses, teachers, soldiers, and anyone whose mission, passion, or profession is to clash with oppression and ignite a better quality of life that sheds a golden light on those who've grown colder. But especially you, who won't lose that spark even as you grow older. When you can no longer drive, be that much more driven. When you lose sight in your eyes, share what's left of your vision. And for what's better forgotten, forgive. And be forgiven. Lead the way for your children, so maybe they can be the product of a life worth living. The first quarter is over, but there are still 3 left should you be so blessed, so while the clock resets, refresh yourself and look well on those who've been your teammates in a game that's lost all direction. Here today, gone tomorrow. When transition takes back everything that you've borrowed, rely on your words and your reflection.
It took 25 years, but I think I see.
Let us be the first to wish you a happy new year. The clock has struck